Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons as we are back here in our city on City Skylines 2. And you'll notice I did make some little changes to what's going to eventually be our farming section here. And we've got, you started to probably see the more little open spaces that we've got in our downtown section. And we're really just kind of planning out for future expansion with regards to living spaces. That's kind of why we got that grid out there in the middle that you see, is because we are going to be needing to be expanding here fairly quickly. We've got a pretty high residential demand right now, but overall I think we're in a pretty solid spot. We are at level 2 here in this one so far. Hopefully I would like to ideally get up to level 3, probably level 4 in this episode. I think would be the better way to go about it, but it is going to be interesting to kind of see how everything shapes out here. As you see, we did get our medical clinic. We kind of got that built up, decorated around it, so it does fit this little corner section pretty well. I wanted it to be its own little block. I didn't want it to be anything more than that. And then we got our cemetery updated last time and stuff too, so I think the city is coming along pretty well. But one thing that I knew we were going to need at some point, and it's not so much that, hey, I really want to put this in, although I do normally put in a landfill, because most places have landfills, let's be honest. I finally am going to end up having to put it in. I kind of put it off for a while, just basically kind of just long enough. Once you kind of reach that level 3 and stuff, and you start getting into the couple thousand of the population, you really kind of do need to upgrade your garbage, because you can't just depend on outside connections for all of that. At some point, you got to kind of deal with it yourself. So we are going to get this place right here in the midst of the industrial section. It's going to have its own little block. Now, this is not the biggest section and block in the world. So eventually I am going to want to look at a recycling center, but that's development point, so we'll have to see when we'll be able to pull that up with everything else that we got kind of going on here in the city. Now, the positive thing is, like I said, with no money, we can go ahead and add on some of the extensions for it. I just didn't want to add on that little extension wing, that storage wing, that just wasn't what I was thinking about. So we've got that placed in, and now it is going to be time to get some zoning stuff done, so we're going to jump into a time lapse here in about 20 seconds if I had to guess. But we're going to get a lot of the farming zoning done, and a lot of different things are going to be kicking off here. So it is an expansion to the city. It's just not one that I would say is like, hey, this is a major expansion project, but we are getting ready to expand. So I'd definitely say, hey, let's look forward to that, and I will join y'all whenever we get back to the other side of our time lapse here. And I am back as we get ready to put in our coal mining, our metal ore mines. And this is kind of what I wanted for our industrial area. And this whole section kind of heading out in this direction of the city really does actually play on. It's got multiple areas for this coal and ore. It's got plenty of trees. It's got a ton of oil and stuff heading out this way. So really, I wanted to start putting these in, and we're going to kind of mingle the industrial zone around it. So you're going to kind of see these little mining sections be taken in with industrial zoning kind of going all the way around it. So it's not somewhere we're going to have just these kind of mines just stuck out by themselves, which eventually probably will do that. But I think just with the way we're set up right now, it kind of just works better for what we're doing here. So the first one that we put in was a coal mine. Now, I put that in even though I don't have a coal-powered power plant, and I really did that just mainly because this can be a very expensive export, right? So that was really the thought process behind it. I promise y'all I did not go too much in depth in that thought. It was, look, we need it. It's expensive for other people. It brings in a good chunk of money, so we'll do it. Now here, the metal ore mining. This one is a big one for us. It does open up a lot for what you're able to do, at least financially. This is also another one of those exports that could really bring in I'm going to say a healthy chunk of money. I'm not sure that's the best way it'd be described, but yeah, that's how we're going to end up doing it. As a healthy chunk of money would be coming in from this ore mining as well. So I would always recommend, especially whenever it comes to your city budget and all that stuff, like, yeah, we're playing with unlimited money, but it definitely does work out better in the end. Going ahead and start putting these mines in and stuff like that. Eventually, we might end up moving them. I don't know right now. That's not the plan at this point, because this is our major industrial hub for basically our whole county. And so I think it's going to work. I think it'll work pretty well with it being here and kind of putting everything around the outside of it as we expand those property tiles and so forth. Now, placing those down, it did get us to milestone 4, which is what we were looking for. And one of the main reasons we wanted to have milestone 4, not just because the offices, I mean, that's great, but it offers the park development tree. Now, good thing we do have 10 development points available. And the park development tree I wanted mainly because it gives us the playground for the elementary school, and then large sports parks opens up the football fields for the high school. Now, I know a lot of high schools and places don't have football fields attached to them and all that fun jazz. Well, I live in Texas. It's kind of a pretty standard thing. If you want to be a high school program that's taken seriously, you need to have a football stadium. Field at least that you play your games on. I'd say stadium would be preferable. So that's kind of what we wanted to. I wanted to put it in for the high school. Here we're going to finish up getting this elementary school kind of decorated out. I wanted this one to once again be its own plot, so we can have a lot of different walking paths going around it. That was a big deal for me, is putting these walking paths in, getting the area kind of overall dressed up. So that way, at least the school looks nice. It provides a good rating to your peeps and all that fun jazz. Like I said, we did open up offices. You saw me put one in. I am going to spurt those throughout the downtown center. It's good. So we have obviously a ton of commercial, but I think once we start putting in some offices there, it's going to make things kind of that much better with the way the downtown appearance is going to be. These aren't high rises, so it will definitely fit the aesthetic of the area. Here putting in the boundary, I know you've probably seen me do it before, but the line tool, like I said, this is not a mod. At least I know there is like a line mod or something that allows you to do so much more than I guess this. But this is just basically part of the game. I mean, this is not a code mod or anything, being able to do this. So we're getting these placed up as close as we can around the border. And normally I do it a couple different ways. I'll put my paths in my walking path, and then I'll do the trees around it, or sometimes it's just easier to do the borderline, the outside, and then let me go ahead and do the path work, and I can actually try to work this to where we don't actually lose any trees. I am wanting to connect these things up to the crosswalks. It just kind of makes it a little bit better, I think, just to connect the crosswalks over together, a little bit more of a flow when walking around and so forth. That's just the main thought. This is why you'll see me connect these up to the crosswalks most of the time. Now we are going to jump back here into a time lapse here again, where we're going to get our football field in high school stuff pretty much put in, and we'll kind of continue a little bit with the development of this city overall as we finish up these paths right here. And I am back, everybody, as we get into our lovely farmland extension, right? So, this isn't a separate whole city thing, right? This is an extension on the outside of our current city. The farmland one, you kind of have to have it just because in the way the exports work and all that fun jazz here in the system, in the city skylines, you want to put these in, get those exports going, just start bringing in some money. It really does help balancing stuff out. Now here you see me put those blocks, the streets are about 112 by 112. Once again, that is pretty much done solely for the purpose of the fact that I want to put people in here mixed in with these farms. Like this isn't a whole different city in and of itself, but it is a community, right? That's one of the biggest things I want to try to keep in mind is this is a farming community here. And these people are going to be living around farms. And a lot of these people that would be living here are probably also working on these farms. So I think it really does help out if we can get some people living in there. And eventually, we'll probably end up moving these out once the farming city from across the, river actually comes through or comes in. We might end up moving these out over that way so we can develop this. Maybe we'll kind of see. I do like with the little town having its own little farming area. One smaller town I lived in did have its own, so not really its own farming area. Just drive around some of the bigger roads and you're gonna hit somebody's farm pretty damn quickly. So it wasn't all that, it's not all that shocking, and I really don't think it'd be all that, I guess you could say, unrealistic for it. So that's kind of the thought behind putting these farms in right here, surrounded by like the little neighborhoods and stuff like that. Little gridded up neighborhoods right there is, I think, in reality, for small towns, you'd have to have something like that. You just would. So that's kind of why we got these things placed in here in the way we have. Now we do have one already for grain. We've got one for vegetables, and now one for the cotton and textiles, basically. I am going to go ahead and look to continue this 4-lane road down this little coastline here, mainly because this is farmable land between our little grid section and this 4-lane road I'm putting in. But I don't know if I'm going to use it just yet or what we're going to use it for. Part of me does also know that we need livestock farming to go in. Like, just got to have it. And right now we don't have any livestock farming, right? I've got vegetable, cotton, and so forth like that. Now I'm putting up these little commercial spots inside these what's going to end up being residential blocks. And I'm only doing that because, one, I know I'm going to need it eventually. So the need is going to rise. We don't see a whole lot of commercial need right now, or even low density residential, but it will come up as the game progresses and as the city builds itself. So I wanted to go ahead and get those put in there so they weren't forgotten. Now, taking a look at where we are at, one thing I'm liking is traffic flow. I have connected this grid over to the 4-lane road that I use primarily for the industrial section. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm going to have to kind of see, because you'll notice as we come in here, we do have a lot of, it's still, I guess, considered medium density. It's just the low rent housing stuff. And I'm always nervous about putting these in because, like I said before, I don't want it to get too tall, right? And I know most of this low density is going to end up becoming at least medium density type of housing. So I don't want these things to stand up like friggin', they're not, obviously, it's not going to be skyscrapers, but I just don't want it to have that kind of effect. You know what I mean? Now, they are kind of off from the city center, which does help out a lot in terms of the appearance. So it is really just mainly going to be trying to keep it down as far as size around the downtown area. A lot of this medium density row homes, I'm going to end up having to rezone those. So you are going to see at times a lot of these people just being displaced. I mean, sorry, get over it. Move to one of our other medium density houses. As we're getting these office spaces coming in, since it did open up. And I think this is really going to help downtown kind of form to be pretty dang good looking and kind of a money hub for a smaller city. I think it's going to turn out pretty damn well. I do just want to kind of keep that need going. And obviously, as much as I don't like focusing on the demand at all times, especially when I want to just kind of focus on, hey, let's make this place look great, you still kind of have to do it, because you will notice if you don't, every now and then people are going to start bailing from your city. It's just the way it goes. So I am putting these in sporadically through this little midsection. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. A part of me wants to just kind of fill it in with trees, but we'll kind of see how that works and kind of how that goes for us here. So you will see me start placing these in, and in the end I think they come out all right. Like I said, I've at least convinced myself that they've come out all right. And when it comes to playing building and simulation games, if you can convince yourself of something, then hey, you're good to go, right? So we are going to end up doing a lot more rezoning as we go throughout this game in downtown. So it's one of those just kind of, yeah, we're going to take out some of these medium row homes and let's get some offices and stuff put in there. Now coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to take some fly-throughs over the city. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're going to leave off. So I do want to remind y'all to hit the subscribe button if you have not hit it already. And definitely give us a thumbs up if you like today's video. It really does help me out, helps out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it and everything y'all do for us. But other than that, guys, enjoy the fly-throughs. I will see y'all in the next episode. So, you know, as always, hey, stay safe, and you know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.